Hello and welcome to another episode of MacStories Unwind. I'm John Voorhees, and I have with me Federico Vitici. How you doing, Federico?
Hello. I'm doing good. I am now at my fully functioning, updated desk. So that's nice.
Nice. Well, we thought today we'd go
Mhm.
kind of sideways on MacStories Unwind today. We'd do something a little different. It's the summertime, different things are happening, and we're going to have some fun talking about our setups because we did just publish, as we record this, an update to our setups page. And you and I, it's kind of become a seasonal thing. We do it 2 or 3 times a year.
Yeah.
There's always some adjustments happening, either in Federico's home office over there or mine. And we both have, I think you've got the most fundamental changes this most recent time, but I've got some things, especially in the portable space, that I want to talk about. And it also happens to be Prime Day, so we should, we're really celebrating commercialism here. I think, Federico, is really what it comes down to.
Right. Yes. This is the capitalism episode of Unwind, I guess.
It is.
Yeah. We obviously we work in tech. We write about tech. It goes without saying that we use a bunch of tech products. And
do.
I think what's fascinating is that, especially the changelog of the setups page on MacStories. So if you want to check it out, just go to macstories.net/setups, and you will find my section, John's section, but also a changelog at the top of the page with the chronicles, all the changes to that page over the course of the past year and a half or something.
More than a year. It's almost like 2 years at this point. Yeah, it's been quite a while, and especially if you visited before, this is a good way to just catch up on what has fallen by the wayside and what's new without having to scroll through the entire list. But yeah, it's there, and some of this stuff, it's a good time to be looking at this since it's Prime Week, because some of the things that we have on our list I've already noticed are on sale on Amazon during Prime Days. So check out the links. We're going to talk a little bit, each of us, about what we've done. And I want to start with you, Federico, because one of the things that I noticed in putting together the story was that you've had it's been a fundamental shift, which I know you've talked about in a lot of different places, but I want to focus on the gear that has changed in your home office since you started using iPadOS 26 and kind of changed your setup with regard to gaming too.
Yeah. Obviously, one of the big changes that actually happened a couple of months ago, but I've been tweaking this, is my new monitor, the Asus 4K 27-inch OLED monitor that I have. And I've been using this for the past couple of months. That obviously went sort of alongside my gaming PC, which is also new in this update to the setups page, and the Nintendo Switch 2, which the idea was to turn my desk into sort of like a dual setup where I can either get work done or I can play video games. And what I think is quite nice is that of these two categories of sort of things that I can do at my desk, there's also 2 machines for each. There's 2 computers for work, and there's 2 devices for gaming.
Yeah.
So there's both my iPad Pro and the Mac Studio, which I have on loan from Apple at the moment. And there's the Nintendo Switch 2 and the gaming PC. So there's 2 machines for each category of task that I can do at my desk, all going into this monitor, which is an absolutely stunning monitor, 240 hertz refresh rate OLED, 27-inch 4K, and recently discovered has an excellent KVM functionality,
right?
Which allows me to carry my keyboard, my trackpad, the audio interface, and my Sony camera that I'm using right now in between the iPad Pro and the Mac Studio. So no matter which computer I'm using for work, I can also use those devices. Oh, and also obviously my Ethernet connection, thanks to an Anchor adapter that I also linked in the setups page this week.
I have to imagine, Federico, that actually has helped you with cable management and cutting down on clutter too, since the KVM is built right into the display as opposed to being a separate box somewhere on your desk.
Yeah, it really helps not to have a dock or a hub anymore. Just making sure that everything is going into the back of the monitor and cutting down on you're basically cutting down on a whole dock plus the power supply plus cables needing to go down into the drawer that I have under the desk. So everything gets tucked behind the monitor, which is super nice. The gaming PC is obviously separate from all of this. Doesn't have, like, I have a standalone mouse, standalone keyboard, Ethernet connection going straight into the gaming PC, doesn't go into the KVM because the KVM is limited to 2 computers. So I decided to use the KVM functionality of the monitor just for the iPad and the Mac Studio. And the gaming PC is an absolute unit of a gaming PC. It's got a 5090 inside. It's got the latest Ryzen 9 CPU, 96 gigs of RAM, you name it. Like it's my dream build of a gaming PC. It's inside the Leon Lee A3 case, so it's obviously in white. A common theme that you will see on my desk is that whenever possible, I try to find white accessories. I couldn't find this monitor and the audio interface in white. They only come in black. I prefer the look of the white color with the sort of like brownish, grayish desk that I have. But hey, the monitor and the audio interface, they only come in black, so that's fine. I want to give a shout out to the coiled USB cables that I'm using for.
I saw those.
Keyboard.
I was really interested in those when I saw them.
Those are simple, like $10 or something.
Yeah.
Coiled USB cables in white, of course, that connect the Apple Magic Keyboard and the Apple Magic Trackpad to the back of the monitor. Unfortunately, those Apple devices, they do not support wireless multi-pair between the iPad and the Mac. So I had to finally accept the reality that if I wanted to use that keyboard and the trackpad, which I do because it's the only keyboard that I can type on, I had to use them in wired mode. And so I thought, well, I don't want to have a long wire always stretching across my desk. And so I realized, hey, maybe having one of those coiled cables that sort of expands and retracts maybe is the solution. And it is a solution for me. It actually works quite well. What else do you want to know, John?
I don't know. I guess I want to know if those coiled cables come in short lengths too, because I actually
they come in multiple. I think you can find equivalents of like these are like 20 or so centimeters.
Yeah.
I think you can find them in a shorter length.
I think that's because I have this Logitech Creative Console, which is a little bit like a Stream Deck that I have connected to the front of my studio display, and I've never found a good position for the cable. I have a short cable connecting it, but it kind of gets in the way, and I'm thinking maybe a coiled one might be a good solution there on the front of my desk. Yeah, I guess the PC, the gaming PC. One thing worth mentioning, I think, is it's a custom PC. So that's not one that someone's going to find a link to in the setup pages to buy the actual
well, technically,
parts of it, right?
Yeah, you can use the company I use, which is called Inside Tech.
Right.
They have a selection of pre-built PCs, but mine is a custom one. So work with them to get a slightly customized one with the Leon Lee case in white color, with the latest Ryzen 9, with the palette version of the 5090 desktop GPU. So yeah, you can go. It's not linked. I prefer to link to the individual parts, but the company I use is called Inside Tech, and it's based in the UK. Excellent service. I want to mention some of the latest additions when it comes to gaming. I switched from the 8-bit Ultimate 2 controller to the Razer Wolverine V3 Pro. I think it's the name. If only because I think it's slightly more comfortable for my hands, and obviously it comes with a 2.4 gigahertz dongle for avoiding Bluetooth as much as possible. But also very important to me, comes with a headphone jack port. My monitor doesn't have speakers. I don't want to have standalone speakers on my desk, so I can just plug in one of my earpods into the controller, which the 8-bit unfortunately doesn't have.
You used to have speakers on your desk not that long ago, didn't you?
I used to, but then I realized it was too many cables, and I just didn't like the look. I also want to mention, of course, the Viture XR glasses that I've been using alongside the Viture mobile dock for playing with my Nintendo Switch 2 via the glasses. So these are the only XR glasses that work with the Nintendo Switch 2 at the moment. And that's because the mobile dock was updated with a beta firmware for Nintendo Switch 2 compatibility. We talked about this on NPC. There's a whole episode of NPC about this. If you're interested, Vichard just today announced their new Luma series of glasses. They come in 4 different models, each model in 2 sizes. So there's 8 different SKUs to choose from. And they come with like this very specific differences between them. I will need to study.
I was gonna ask you what's kind of like the headline feature for these updates, but I guess it's different for each pair, each series.
So it seems like the common thread is like what they advertise as 4K like, which there's a bit of a controversy right now on Reddit. Like, what does 4K like mean if it's not really 4K? It's basically
interpolated or something.
Well, get this, it's a 1200p display.
That's not 4K.
That's a far cry from 4K, right?
It's a very far cry from 4K.
But because they have this increased sharpness technique, they're saying that a lot of people, when they try these glasses, say, "Oh, it feels like 4K." So
okay, that people who don't know any better think it feels like 4K. Is the label?
We'll see. Look, I really do think 4K like. Controversy aside, I really do think that Vichard, they have the most interesting ecosystem of this XR glasses company right now. Also because they are shipping things right now. I like, the folks at XReal talking a big time on Reddit and actually not having the products available right now.
Sure.
We'll see. It's an interesting, I think these 2 companies, XReal and Vichard, they are the Apple and Samsung right now. So it's going to be interesting to see, these 2 companies sort of fight it out. But for now, I'm happy with my Vichard glasses. And that's basically about it
all right.
on my end. Yeah, and a couple of different accessories that, you can find on the setups page. Yeah.
All right. Well, I want to kick off my additions to my setup with something that I think most people have probably never heard of, which is the Arylic LP10 AirPlay 2 wireless music streamer. This is a little box that sits on your desk, and it works with AirPlay 2. And the reason I have this is that I have the Harman Kardon sound sticks, which are these clear, great-looking retro speakers that sound great, but the model that I have are Bluetooth only, or they can be wired. They can be plugged in with a cable. And the Bluetooth functionality has always been a little flaky on these speakers, and I wanted to move them over to AirPlay, but because it's not built in the speakers, I needed something to go with it to actually accomplish that. And for a while, I had something that Belkin makes. It's a little dongle. It's a tiny little box on a cable that does the same thing. It accepts an AirPlay 2 signal, and you can then plug it into a speaker port and get AirPlay 2 that way. But it didn't work super well. It was tiny. It had very small antennas in it, and it was always a little flaky. And when I read about the Arylic LP10, it said that it was the best AirPlay 2 streamer on the market right now. And it's about roughly $100. And it not only does it do AirPlay 2, it also works with similar technologies from Google, works with Tidal, I think, works with 2 or 3 other services as well. And so I've got it sitting off, hidden behind my calendar on my desk, plugged into these speakers, and it's made using Apple Music and these speakers via AirPlay absolutely flawless. It's connected quickly and seamlessly every time with 0 hiccups. So I've been really happy with that addition to my infrastructure. A lot of the rest of what I've updated really comes down to it being the summer. And over the course of the last few months, I've kind of been updating my portable setup on the margins for when I travel, for when I go down to the coffee shop, that sort of thing.
Your portable Wi-Fi 7 router.
Yes, that's one of the
kind of thing that only you can use.
I know. Well, you got to use it with Tailscale, Federico. I like to bring up Tailscale whenever I have the opportunity.
What's better in terms of a sort of cult adjacent thing, Tailscale or Home Assistant? Which one do you think is the best one?
I think Home Assistant, but you can use Home Assistant and Tailscale in tandem, right?
Okay, moving on. Disregard, please move on.
All right. Well, so yeah, I did update that travel router. I wrote about my Wi-Fi 6 travel router a while ago, and it has the benefit of being able to do things like pick up a coffee shop's Wi-Fi signal and extend it further away. So like if you're sitting outside, like I like to do outside the coffee shop, you can boost the signal that way and still use your devices. Or I can use it out on my balcony, which gets pretty good reception now that I have a Wi-Fi 7 set up in my home. But it can make it a little bit more make it a little more stable of a signal out there. So there are various circumstances where I've liked having it. The Wi-Fi 7 version of this router is a little bit bigger and heavier than the Wi-Fi 6, which was more plastic.
Yeah,
but it's still been a really nice router to have. It's got a little OLED screen on the front, makes it really easy to navigate the menus and pick up the setup that you want. The other travel portable stuff that I've picked up is for CES. I got the TomTalk Sling Bag crossbody backpack, which was driven by the fact that CES regulates how big of a bag you can bring into the convention center, and my backpack was too big. And then I realized after coming home, having spent several days in CES with Brendan carrying that bag, is that that's really all I need most of the time, because it fits a 14-inch MacBook Pro. It fit as well as an 11-inch iPad Pro if you want at the same time, plus pockets and space for other stuff as well. So I've enjoyed carrying that because it's kind of constrained me a little bit, made sure that I don't carry too much with me. I've taken it on trips. I've taken it around town. Really nice thing to have. I also have the Moft Invisible laptop stand, which is this really cool origami style laptop stand that folds flat like a manila folder that you can easily slip in a bag like this small TomTalk bag, and then unfold it, set it up with magnets, and use your laptop on the go. So that's been a pretty nice addition to the portable setup. I think beyond that, Federico, I guess I tried to skinny down my list of handheld gaming consoles on the site, because although I haven't really gotten rid of very many of the consoles that I've used in the past, I've started to focus on just a handful of them. The Retroid Flip 2, the Trim UI Brick, which was already on the setups list, the Miu Flip, which is relatively new, and of course the Anode and Portal. So that's like my core handheld gaming setup now. I know that's still kind of a lot. That's four different devices. But if you saw my shelf, you'd see that there's several more beyond that as well. But these are the ones that I want to put on the setup page because these are the ones that I use regularly.
Nice. Well, you can go to MacStories.net/setups, and you can find the latest version of our setups, as well as the changelog for me and for John that details all the changes, the things that were removed and the things that were added. So go there and you'll find everything.
Yeah. And don't miss our Prime Day post as well, because I went through thousands of entries and found things that Federico and I have both used and recommend to people, and found the biggest discounts among those things and published a list of those. So it's really just the things that we've used before, we recommend, and are also good deals. So check it on out. And you can, in the meantime, you can find us over at MacStories.net. And we're on social media. Federico is at Viticci. That's VITICCI. And I'm at John Voorhees. JOHNVOORHWS. Talk to you next week, Federico.
Ciao, John.